I've been occupying for about 40-something days. I can't pin down the first day that I started ever.
All right.
And I was one of the 292 people that was caught up in the raid that happened to clear out what was several of my friends' homes.
Tell us what happened when you got arrested. How did it go down?
Well, we were just sitting there locked arms. We were barred off from joining our friends in the center circle, and the area that we had already resided at was in the process of being ripped apart with knives and just our tents getting destroyed. So we just, me and my 3 friends sat down, locked arms, and when the police showed up, we let them know we weren't trying to resist them, and they like jabbed their thumbs in the back of our neck. It was all just kind of like a silly display of power. But then the bad part was when we got put on the paddy wagon, because that began the hours upon hours upon hours that we were waiting just to go to jail.
How long did it take you to go from Occupy LA to Van Nuys, I believe it was, right?
I wasn't one of the people sent to Van Nuys. They were the ones that were on the bus for like 7 hours. We sat on the paddy wagon for like 2 hours, and then we got sent to the Metro Detention Center, where we then waited for, I didn't get booked. I was arrested at 1:15, and I didn't get booked until about 8:45 in the morning. And then I was shoved into a detention cell with, at one point in time, 47 guys. And it was an 8-man cell, and we waited in there for about, we didn't get to our till cell block C until about 4:47, I'm thinking the time was. It was roughly dinner time.
Had you had anything to eat in all that time?
No. Well, no, we were given burritos at about noon or 1 the next day after being arrested.
Tell us the condition in jail. How did they treat you?
Well, the whole time they always made it a point to let us know that they thought that what we were doing was stupid, and whenever we didn't get, I was just doing my job, we got animosity from them when we questioned, most of us just saying, I realize you all are saying that we were arrested because you told us to leave, but what law did we actually break? And none of them could ever actually answer that.
How did they treat you personally?
Well, I asked for a towel. Well, my knees were messed up when I was caught. The officer, with an attempt to roll me on my back, like started twisting my ankles. And so they gave me Motrin when I first got there. And then when I requested to get a toothbrush after the Motrin, I guess they thought that was hassling them. And then in our cell block, it was 36 dudes, and they gave us 6 towels to wash all of us with and a single bottle of soap. And then when we requested more towels, they gave us 1 more and told us to make do. And we were in there for like 3 days almost, and we just weren't allowed to, we were given toothbrushes once. We were given, none of us were, not all of us were allowed to bathe. One of the guys was lactose intolerant, and all they gave us to drink was milk. He had no alternatives. And once they took me out of the cell and put me in solitary after requesting a Quran.
Explain that.
Well, we're allowed to ask for a religious document, and we asked for a Bible, and they said they were out of Bibles. And then when I requested a Quran, they just the watch commander took me out of my cell and placed me in solitary. They said it was for no particular reason, that they just needed to free up space. So they placed me in solitary by myself, turned off the intercom to my cell, and then they didn't give me the Motrin that I was supposed to be given while I was there for my knees. And they actually didn't give me breakfast this morning either. I actually had to kick at my door for a while because my intercom was turned off until the officer came by and informed me that I was already marked for roll call and given breakfast.
So, are you a Muslim person? Is your religion Islam?
I don't like to identify myself with any particular religion, but it was just, I'm just shocked at the fact that it was a direct response to me asking for a Quran. It wasn't anything else that I said before that had bothered them, but when I asked for that in particular, I was taken to solitary. And it was just all a bad experience.
So did they ask you anything in jail, like are you a Muslim or anything? They just put you in solitary?
Yeah, they just didn't talk to me after I got put in solitary. They just didn't say a word to me.
How long were you in solitary confinement?
I was in there for about a day. I think I was put in at 7 o'clock on the 1st and let out at about 2 o'clock today.
What are your charges? Are you going to appear in front of a judge or anything?
Yeah, my charge was failure to disperse from an unlawful assembly. And I asked them several times at what point did the assembly become unlawful, because the assembly has been going on for 2 months. And I was never given a clear-cut answer at exactly which point we hopped the fence to the unlawful assembly side.
And what was your bail? Did you post bail?
I didn't post bail. I waited it out. My bail was $5,000 for being in a park.
Did they explain to you why $5,000?
No, they didn't explain any. There was very minimal communication between us and the police, and whenever they did talk to us, it was typically just to say something snarky, like you all should just get jobs. When, I mean, they wrote down that I am unemployed as well, and I'm employed. I thought that was just like a nice cherry on top of everything.
Lucky, tell us if you got arrested during the LAPD raid.
Yeah, I did. I was sitting in the peace circle around the tent, and they were pulling us off one by one.
What did they do? What happened to you? Tell us the process as you got arrested.
Well, what ended up happening, they zip tied us. We were carried away, and we got zip tied. And at the end of the line, we were ordered to remove everything from our pockets, and that doesn't sound good. We removed everything from our pockets and remove our larger jackets and coats, and they pretty much took everything and put them in envelopes, and they put the larger bags over at the sheriff's department to get processed. From that point, we were carried onto a bus, and my particular bus, we were in the bus for about 3 hours before we even moved. I got arrested a little before 3 a.m. and we finally got booked, or correction, we arrived at the jail a little past 6, so we were in there for 3 hours.
What jail did they take you?
We went to the Van Nuys jail.
So how far a distance is it from downtown LA to Van Nuys?
To be honest with you, I'm horrible when it comes to distances. The windows were pretty much tinted, and we could only see a little bit. But
let me ask you this. How did they treat you on the bus? Tell us what happened to you on the bus or your colleagues?
Well, like, I mean, I'm pretty laid back, so like I was singing songs with a couple girls on the bus because that's what we do on a bus. But like the zip ties on quite a few people were too tight. Like one woman actually passed out, and if it weren't for the fact that someone actually taught us how to get out of our zip ties, then she would have fell and hit the floor. And this was, this was actually when we were parked outside the prison. We were parked outside for a good hour before they let us in.
How long were you in jail?
Let's see, I was in jail for about 3 days. And then it took us about 8 hours from the arrest until they even booked us.
Were you charged with anything?
Let's see, we were charged with, I always get this wrong, it's in my pocket, failure to disperse. And that was $5,000 bail.
Did you put $5,000 bail?
No, I stayed in jail.
But are you still charged with that?
I'm going to court on January 5th. So, along with everyone else. So we'll see what pops up.
So I heard earlier that somebody says they dropped the charges on some people. Is that, do you know if that's true?
From what I understand, that happened to 2 people.
Anyway.
You're gonna have to speak up because the people's mic.
So, any last words you want to give to
What was that?
Last words. Anything you want to add to yourself?
Like, even though my personal jail experience was okay, like there's a lot of people not so much. Like, we were on the bus for 3 hours. There's another bus, they were on the bus for 7 hours. and like people were going crazy in there. Like it was really messed up what happened to other buses and other cells, so we really lucked out. But yeah, it was pretty messed up. But you know what? It was worth every second of it. And when it comes down to it, when it comes to the actual process of things, when it comes to the government system, when it comes to corporate America, I'd be glad to do it again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.